You guys are giving them so much creative freedom to actually be artists and not just singing puppets in front of a microphone. Hi, I'm Pierre, and welcome to Neon Voices. Folks, today's show is going to be really, really cool. I am happy to have these two guys as guests here, and I'm talking about none other than Joshua and Lucas from the production management team, GKD Labels. You might know them from their YouTube channel, the Good Kid Dad Show. They have done reactions there. They have talked about music. They have talked about the music industry. They are based in the US and in the Philippines. And we're going to talk to them about their journey because it seems to have been filled with lots of ups and downs. How they started out as creators, as reactors, moving into production, and now finally forming and making their own Ppop girl group FINIX. These girls are awesome. I've seen a whole bunch of videos by them. I've heard them sing. Amazing, amazing talent. And I just want to talk to them about all of this, their journey, where they came from, what was before YouTube, what did they do, what are they planning in the future with their group. Are new groups coming? Are they focusing on one? We'll ask them all about that, so stay tuned and let us welcome Joshua and Lucas right here on Neon Voices. So here we are. Hi guys, how are you today? How is everything?
Good, how are you?
I'm fine, I'm doing well. So maybe just introduce yourselves so the people know who you are.
Sure. My name is Josh, aka Good Kid Dad.
I am Lucas, aka Lucas.
Well, you used to have an AKA. You just don't use your AKA anymore.
Okay.
So, and we are from GKD Records, GKD Labels, and also the Good Kid Dad Show channel. And we're music producers, and most people know us as reactors, but we're music producers
yes.
first. So.
That's where I know you from. So
Yeah.
my first impression was you guys as reactors, and then I saw you diving into more of the production side, and then you started forming FINIX, and very interesting journey you guys have there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It has been a journey. It has, and interesting would be a word for it, but it's had its ups and downs. Yeah. It is one of the. I think the last couple of years have been probably one of the most rewarding experiences of my life, but also one of the most frustrating of my life as well.
But those two things go tandem.
Yeah,
usually.
normally. Yeah.
It has to keep a balance somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess it does.
Yeah.
The higher you get on one side, there has to be a balance somewhere.
Right.
How did you guys, I mean, before all of your reaction videos and your production, everything, what was music for you in your life? Did you ever think you'd go down this path?
Yes.
Yeah.
For me.
Well,
I'm
for
not
both
sure.
of us, we've actually been doing music our
Forever.
entire lives.
Yeah.
So like music came
Okay.
first. People know us as reactors.
Yes.
But music was something we were both doing. If you want to go into yours first, go ahead.
Yeah, no, for a long time, I was touring in bands. So I was playing guitar and singing in rock bands for a long time. And then I started going more into the production end. I had taught myself how to produce. And I started going into the production end and kind of making some solo stuff just to kind of learn more. And then, and obviously put stuff out, but it wasn't that big of a deal. But it was just to learn more. And then my goal before Josh and I even started working together was just to create a studio where someone could come in and I could help them write songs. That was the dream. Like just a studio
very
where
cool.
I made enough of a living and help people write songs, because that's one of the biggest things is people have a hard time writing good songs.
That's
And
true.
In order to write good songs, you have to write thousands of songs.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I wanted to be the guy that did that work so that other people could come in and be a part of that. And then Josh hits me up one day, out of the absolute blue.
It was right when the pandemic started.
Yeah, and he was like, "Hey, haven't talked to you in 25 years.
Yes.
Are you still? Yeah.
So we were a fun fact. So we were best friends in elementary school. So we knew each other from elementary school from basically the age of like 5 or 6 to what 11, 12, whenever you're done and going to middle school, and we were best friends and inseparable. So much so, there's a fun fact: we were really into boy bands back in the day, and it wasn't cool to be into boy bands when you were a boy.
No, it wasn't.
But there were
not
like
really.
there were these little like steps out by the school with like this little alcove, and Lucas and I would basically do our own little performances of like the Backstreet Boys in the schoolyard. So we knew each other.
We were so popular.
We were definitely. We both had sweet rat tails. Do you remember those?
Oh yeah.
I still. My mom has mine. She cut it off. She cut it off. She kept it. But anyway.
Too much information.
It's my mom. Well, you know, she's got like a baby book, and one of the things that's in the baby book was my rat tail.
Let her know that's weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, we knew each other from then, and during the pandemic, you can continue now so people get a little more context.
During the pandemic, he hits me up on Facebook. He's like, "Hey, are you still doing music?" And I'm like, "Okay, yes, I'm still doing music." He's like, "I had this project. It was DMCA free music."
Yeah.
That because he was doing Twitch at the time, and he had a network of Twitch people, and they needed DMCA free music to play in the background of their Twitch so that they didn't get demonetized.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, I need like, was it 300?"
We originally I'd hit you up. We wanted to make 400 songs in like 90. It was like 90 days.
Okay.
But it was very lofty.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so at this time, Josh, you weren't producing.
I wasn't producing. I was just writing.
Right. So
I was just writing. Yeah.
So I was like in my head, I was like, okay, so he doesn't know what I do, but I'm gonna say yes and just see if I can get it done. And if I can't get it done, then at least we did something.
Yeah.
And then how many did we end up doing?
We ended up doing 120.
120.
Within like 60 days.
Was it just instrumental songs or actually full song? Okay. I
They
was
were
just wondering.
No, they were just instrumentals, and it was because of during the pandemic. So YouTube had been hit by adpocalypse.
Yes.
A couple of years before, but Twitch never had it. And then all of a sudden, Twitch streamers started getting banned left and right at the beginning of the pandemic because the streams started going way up and people were getting banned. So we created this, and it did. The project went way better than we had ever anticipated it going. And it really it took off. There was a lot of people using it. And you know, it's one of those things where when people are using, they're streaming for 4 or 5 hours. So your playlist of 120 songs, because we wanted to have 24 hours. That's why we did 400 originally. We wanted to have 24 hours of music. We ended up getting like 6.
Yeah.
And but it went really well. And I think at that point in time, we just kind of talked to one another and we were like, hey, we work really well with one another.
Yeah.
Let's make this a thing. And for me before then, I was actually a musical theater kid. So I had like vocal performance scholarships going into college. I was doing I'm trained in classical musical theater style and a little bit of jazz. So from a vocal standpoint, like I was doing that, and then I could play a little bit of instruments and stuff. And so we started working with one another, and we were like, hey, so we created a studio together. We were doing some homework and started working with some artists. And then I was like, I really wanted to learn the production side of things, because that was one of the things. Like I could songwrite, but it was for the amount of work that we knew we were taking on. And I went back to school, got a degree from LA Recording School. So I did like a fast-paced course from them over the course of like 2 years, so I could learn how to do all of the stuff that you were doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, from there I don't remember when it was. It was shortly after Twitch that we decided to do YouTube. Yeah. You had actually you were like, hey, why don't we start? You had said something to me about your personality or something.
I said, yeah, because you were doing everything at the time. So I was like, why don't you start doing reactions?
Yeah.
Because I was already doing them on some different channel.
Yeah.
And then he started doing reactions to just random stuff, right?
It was random, pretty random at first.
Super random. And then found BTS.
Yeah.
And then I came into the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I started being on that channel because we shut down my old channel and just started working on this all together.
And so originally
that's interesting.
Originally the reactions were just to allow us to get more into the music scene again, like and listen and be exposed to more types of music that we weren't used to being exposed to help us just be better producers. And we never expected it to take off, and it just took off.
It just did. That's true. Yes. So you were basically reacting to all kinds of stuff. You didn't have a specific genre, nothing?
When we first started reacting, we didn't have a specific genre. No. And then, but like once the BTS stuff started taking off, we started kind of diving down that rabbit. I remember our first reaction was it blew up, but not for the right reasons.
Not for the right reasons.
It was not well received. No. So we made a comment, like, and for us being from the US, like, when we talk about boy groups, we thought the same thing about US boy groups. And I remember I said something along the lines of like, "Oh, it's crazy, I can't tell them apart. They all look the same." And it wasn't and it wasn't meant to, because like we would say the same thing about like the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC. Like, you can't, like, the whole persona of like boy bands and girl bands is like they try to make them fit this mold, right? But when the audience is a foreign audience majority, right? Because you're not getting people from the US, colloquial phrases and stuff don't necessarily hit the same way. And so there was a lot of people, and I was like, well, we're going to continue down this. And then we continued. I mean, so much so that, like, you know, I have, like, I'm a full-on army with tattoos now.
Okay. Very good.
But yeah, we got into K-pop from them, and we just were really fascinated by the production, not only the production style, but the production level
the quality
of K-pop is just insane.
It's out of this world, yes.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I had produced metal, hip-hop, some R&B stuff before, you know, like, and just regular pop. But once we heard K-pop, I was like, oh, no, hold on. Like, there's a separation between, as far as production goes, separation between the men and the boys. And like K-pop was like so much better than anything I had ever heard as far as production goes. I was like, okay, so if I want to be the best, if we're going to be the best, then this is where we need to sit. Like, we need to sit around this. We need to surround ourselves with this so that we can actually become something better than, and I mean, and no offense against like any of the US pop artists, but like, there's very few that are on the level of K-pop. You know what I mean?
Yes. From a production standpoint. Yeah, 100%.
That's cool. That is actually cool.
Yeah.
And so when you started your channel, did you ever think about actually producing your own group that hooks onto the channel, that you make something like this audition show about, or was that somewhere in your mind already?
I remember specifically, we had a conversation where we said we will never ever manage artists.
So this happens a lot, and none of these things usually come to light. But I get in my head and I start thinking, and I say, "Hey, Josh, what if we try this?" And Josh will give me 4,000 reasons as to why we shouldn't do that, and then we just won't do it. Because he's a critical thinker, and I'm more of like just a guy that's like, "Hey, why don't we try it?" So I remember one day I was like, "Why don't we start our own group?" And then Josh was like, "For these 9 billion reasons, we'll never do that." And then I don't know, like 6 months later, you were like, "Let's do it."
Well, it was a little longer than 6 months, because when we first talked about the business, it was still, you and I had the same belief in that we just wanted to create a studio. We wanted to be able to make music and just make a living making music. We didn't care about making it big. We didn't care about making it huge. We just wanted to do what we loved and be able to just make a living from it. And in the US, it is very different, because in the US, managing artists is a whole different beast and comes with other very real legal issues for artists. And especially in our area, it becomes difficult. And then when It was really there was a trip to the Philippines that started it.
Yes.
That was actually what started where we came back, and there was just a level of frustration that I think that we had felt once we came back, where it was like, why don't we just do it?
Right.
And there were a couple specific events that led up to that, but we never, I don't think, had anticipated starting this, that would ever happen, or moving across the world to the Philippines, or doing a reality show, so much.
Was it actually was the choice of the Philippines a language-based thing other than trying to do that in South Korea?
I think that there's a couple reasons that we chose the Philippines. One of them was, I think that we both identified very much with the Filipino spirit. So we were both underdogs. We don't come from money. We went to an inner city school. We fought for everything that we had. Like, nobody handed us anything. And when we started reacting to Filipino content, one of the things that we kept saying was like, man, it's crazy how hard these people are working and how talented they are, but they don't get any credit.
Very true.
And then when we went there, when we visited, the intention of that visit was actually supposed to be a collaborative effort with there was a show that was being put on there, and they had reached out to us to do some work for the show. And when we got there, the show got canceled.
Like a festival.
Yeah, it was PPopCon.
Yeah.
It was PPopCon. So it was there's no NDA on this. It was 2023, and we were doing similar to what you were. We were reaching out. We were doing interviews with artists and stuff like that, and trying to give them exposure. And through a contact of ours that knew SB19, we got linked up with SB19's at the time management.
Oh, very cool.
They basically had said, SB19's super busy right now, but what we would like you to do is come here, and if you're willing to come out to PPopCon, and we will basically give you unfettered access to create basically like a docuseries about Ppop that you can then present to the U.S. audience, because they were really trying to push it out. And we were in Japan on a layover the day before we were supposed to be there for the press conference, and we got a call while we were in Japan, and they were like, hey, show's canceled.
Yeah.
So honestly, if that hadn't happened, if that show had gone on and not been canceled, we would never have been in the situation that we are in now, where we would have picked up artists. I don't think we would have ever done it.
Yeah, it was very
because it led to
serendipitous.
Yeah.
That's a word.
It is a word. Good job, man. Yeah, that was a good use of that word too. But we get there, so we get to the Philippines, and our luggage is gone.
Yeah.
Including all of our equipment. So it's me. He wasn't there yet because he was supposed to follow us. He was still working full time, so he was supposed to follow us a week later. It was our production intern at the time, and me. And we get there, and so all of our luggage, all of the sound equipment, all the lighting equipment, everything is gone. Luckily, we had the main cameras in our carry-ons. We had the camera rig in our carry-ons, and we had 2 mics.
Yeah.
That was it. No clothes.
Okay.
No, nothing.
Starting from scratch.
So we land there. We're there for 3 weeks. Show's canceled. And so the first thing we do, of course, is we go to we were staying in Araneta area in Cubao, so we go to get some clothes. I think we went to H&M, and we both got three like outfits to mix and match for the entire time we were there. We just washed a lot, and then we sat down. We were like defeated. It was cool. When we got in the car, the first song that played was Wyatt by SB19. That was really big at the time.
Cool.
That was the first thing that played when we got in the car. And so we sit down. We're like, what are we gonna do for 3 weeks? And so we had all of the stuff laid out on the table of what we had left. And I took a picture of the camera gear and the gear we had left, and we just put out a tweet, and it just said, anybody who is practicing for PPopCon who didn't get to perform, let us know. We'll come to you, and we'll like do recordings and put you out on the channel. And that tweet blew up.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people ended up reaching out to us from different management companies and different artists.
Wow.
And so we spent the next 3 weeks. We went to JB Audio, bought whatever we could find that could record basically enough people.
That old M Audio.
It's an old, because even the equipment there is like older. The first one I bought was an Avid one that they told me was USB, and it wasn't. We got back, it was Firewire.
Yeah.
So we couldn't even use it. And so we had to return that. That was a whole thing where we had to get a notary because they didn't give me the receipt. So we had to find a notary to confirm that we could return it, even though we were returning it. But we get this. We buy all the stuff, and we made the rounds and met with like 6 or 7 artists and did just coverage. And this was all paid for by us, by the way. So we weren't making anything from it. And through that trip, though, a couple of things became very evident that we started noticing and hearing from both artists, seeing it from their management company and their staff, and just understanding, being able to see and understanding the music business in general. And there was pretty wide frustrations from everybody about the way that things were run, about the lack of transparency is one of the biggest things, especially when it comes to music and music copyright. You know, you can't, if you are an artist and you do not know how you get paid, and there is no recording system, a digital recording system that you can check to make sure that your stuff's registered properly, how do you become an artist?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's very, very,
very
difficult.
true. Yeah.
And so we met with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
We while we were there, we sold some songs, and one of them, I remember one of the frustrating moments was we took a song. Lucas and I had an EP that was coming out.
Yeah.
And just collectively, we were just kind of writing some of our own stuff. And when I was somewhere, there was no internet. So the only songs that I had were the ones that were saved on my computer.
Yeah.
And one of the songs that was saved on my computer was a song that we had finished and was literally ready to go out.
Oh, I forgot, dude.
A week from then. It was scheduled to go out.
Okay.
And we were with a group, and the group was like, "We want that song."
Yeah.
And we were like, "No." And they're like, no, we really want that song. And I remember I was like, man, I really like the group. And I was like, I'm going to have to make an executive decision because Lucas wasn't awake.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, we're going to give you the song. We're going to re-record it. We'll give it to you. We'll do it. So we give them the song. And I when Lucas gets up, I was like, hey, buddy.
Yeah. It was like the best song we had written at that point.
Yeah, it was. And I was like, remember that song that's going to go out in like a week? I'm taking it down. And he's like, what? And so I tell him, and he's like, okay, I get it. So we do that. And again, all these frustrations are happening. And I'll never name like the people that we talk to because I like to keep, the anonymity of that. But when we got back, we were back for a couple of weeks, and we pulled this song off. And now we're going back and forth with some of the groups that we had sold songs to. And we're trying to go back and forth with the labels and the management companies. It is like, mind you, we were giving them the songs for free.
Yeah.
Yes.
We weren't charging them for production services. We weren't charging them for mixing services. We weren't charging them for mastering services. Literally, all they had to do was record the vocals, send them to us, and we were doing everything for free. Now there was going to be we still would get our writer share and our producer share, but there was no upfront cost for them to do it. So these are free songs for most of these groups who don't get more than a song or two a year. And very, very quickly, it was weird because even though these were songs that were, from a quality standpoint, objectively, were better than a lot of the ones that were coming out at the time, even though they had originally said yes to these songs, one by one, they didn't do the songs.
Yeah.
And the one that we had given to them, the management came to them and they said, we aren't going to let you do this song because it's an English song.
Yeah. Yeah.
No way.
So we had pulled this song off of our own catalog, and they said they're not going to let them do the song. And then the group went and released the first song that came out was
an English song.
Yeah. Because it was like they didn't want to work. We have theories about it, but they didn't want to work with somebody outside, essentially, which was so random.
Yeah.
But it was at that point in time that I was just like, okay, I guess we have to go and resell this song. And then we started talking about it again. We were like, you know what? Screw it.
Yeah.
Let's just, if we're going to do this and these artists aren't going to get a chance to do these songs anyway. It was very, very clear at that point in time that what the artists wanted didn't matter. Even a lot of times what the artist managers wanted that were over them, like their road managers, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Like the people that were making the decisions at the top. And so we were like, let's just do it. Let's just go.
And the amount of talent that is in the Philippines that is misrepresented by whatever management or whatever handlers that they have, they were mishandling a lot of the stuff going on. So we would contact somebody and the artist would be like, yeah, let's do it. Oh yeah, this is awesome. And then the management would be like, either not email you back or whatever. And we looked at it and we were like, okay, like the operation that we run in the US is tight. Like, I mean, was it super tight at the time? No, but it was tight in comparison. So we were like, okay, so if these groups are getting out to the world stage already, like they found us, they get it. It's because of the talent. You know what I mean? And like, and not because of whatever is happening on the back end, because they're being mismanaged on the back end. So like, why not? You know?
And ultimately that ended up becoming the reason why we chose the Philippines.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, we saw how frustrated artists were. We saw that there was a need. And we also then looked at it from you still have to look at it from a business standpoint, right? Of, is it a viable business model?
Right.
Which all of our research in the world couldn't have, I think, set us up for. It is on paper a viable business model.
Yes.
However,
it
is unbelievably difficult to do business.
I mean, but it has potential. I mean, there are really good musicians and vocalists there, everything.
Yeah.
Great artists, that is true. Wow. So
that's what true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever get that song back? I mean, if they don't use it, could you say, hey?
Yeah. No, it's our song. It's our song still. And
okay.
We had plans to release it again, and that ended up not happening
and
again.
the song. Yeah.
So we still have it.
Yeah, 4 years old, and somebody someday will take it.
Yeah.
So release it yourselves. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we could, but
we have no time.
We have no time
to release music
also,
ourselves.
Like, for that style of song, we are in our mid-30s. Like, it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? Like, at the time, we were doing it just because, like, we were trying to just learn more about this stuff and put stuff out for our fans. But that specific type of, like, pop song is meant for very pretty 20-some-year-olds.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I understand. Yeah, that's okay. I totally get that. I mean, I'm starting my 50s now, so yeah, there we go.
Wow. You look incredible for starting your 50s.
Thank you. Yeah. So what? So you stuck to the Philippines, and you had all those problems in the beginning. What kept you there in the end? What was the core thing that kept you going there, even though you had all these difficulties?
Lucas and I joke about, you have to be the right amount of crazy.
Yes.
So whenever you go into like an uncharted territory, or you go into something with the intent to make change or to offer something new that goes against the grain, you have to be the right amount of crazy and talented, I feel like, to
it's like this area. Yeah.
And I think that, honestly, I have this thing in me where I just can't quit.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Very true.
Once you start, and that's one of the reasons why this has worked. Our partnership has worked for so long. Like, I've been business partners with other people before, and like, it was always, when the going gets tough, that we ain't going nowhere. You know. And him and I just, we don't know, like, the feeling of just like putting it down and quitting, like, that's not an option. It's never been an option in either of our heads. I don't know where it comes from for you or for me even, but like, it's just not going to happen.
And there was a second, because we made significant life changes to be able to do this to begin with, right? So there's like this aspect of, especially once you start giving so many things up to pursue something, to pursue a dream, right? That if you just walk away from it, there is this thing of like, then you've basically just wasted all of that time, right? Yes, you get experiences from it, and but we were so close. And I honestly, I think the thing that stuck us the most though was there was a time.
Yeah.
There was a time where we almost just was like, this just can't work here. And there's a reason. There's a reason that companies have come there left and right, and they don't make it.
Yeah.
And it is very, very difficult to traverse the business scene there. It's very difficult to traverse sometimes the corruption, and it's everywhere, and it's prevalent in every aspect of the industry, and especially when you're some guys that are trying to, you know, do something different or offer artists better contracts than what they're used to having. You know, that becomes a scary thing, I think, for some people.
Yeah.
But we recruited the girl group first. Our idea when we came there was we wanted to build a girl group, and that was based off of a number of things, but mostly the research that we had done. This was before Beanie had blown up, and we identified that the Philippines was ready for a girl group to blow up. And so we had reached out, and that is actually Rika and Aki.
Yes.
Were in the first round of auditions that we did back in early 2023.
Okay.
And were recruited then. And the two of them stuck with us for so long through training, and we had a lot of changes that just had to happen because things just fell through.
Yeah.
And then when we did the show, we were just about like, okay, let's do the auditions, let's see. But we did the show, and we found just some incredible talent.
Yeah.
And it was around that time that things really started to settle too. We had the right staff finally. We had the right people behind us, and they had put in time and effort, and the artists had put in time and effort. And it was one of those things where like it almost became, it didn't matter about us anymore. Like we got to the point where like as long as we can survive, we will keep going for the artists.
Yeah.
That is cool. That is cool.
Because
there's a connection there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially for the two that were with us for so long. I mean, they were so immensely patient and so hardworking for a long time. So what that says, and like it was never said out loud, but what that says is like they were just waiting.
Yeah.
They were hungry.
Yes, and they were hungry, but not just that, but they trusted us.
Yes.
Like so, like what when someone trusts you that much, what do you do with that? You know what I mean? Like do you betray that trust, or do you move forward? And like same with the staff.
Yeah.
Staff had been with us through like the thickest of thick, and we were like, okay, like we can't let anybody down. Like that's not going to be, if this is going to end, then it's going to end, it's going to crash and burn, and we're going to.
Yeah, at least we had put every single ounce of effort into it to get there.
That's a good way to think, and that's a good way just to be as a human. I think giving up is not an option. Never.
Yeah.
That is very true. One thing that always interested me, how did you start up with the name GKD, the Gid Kid Dad? Where does that name come from? And why did you put that, or was that the basic thought for the company then, just because you already have those letters?
I mean, basically, when I started my Twitch channel, I started at the beginning of the pandemic, and it was like a mixture between gaming and music. And my son's name is Gideon.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's short, so Gid, he's my kid, and I'm his dad. And my channel logo was him, because the reason I started streaming was because when my son was born, I left the job that I had been working like 80 hours a week doing, and I wanted to spend more time at home with my son. And so that became the channel name, and then people just started referring to me like out of nowhere. It was like just people started calling me GKD, shortening it.
Okay,
so
very cool.
When we started then the channel and everything, the algorithms, the discoverability when we started becoming popular were Gid Kid Dad and GKD.
Right.
So we were just like, okay, well, we already have the algorithms. Instead of starting all over again and building it, let's just take the moniker and so there's no like special. It is special to me,
right?
But there's no like special meaning to the name outside of the fact that it was already part of our brand. And
I mean, that's actually cool. That I like the idea of Gid Kid Dad. Yeah, it makes sense. That's very, very cool.
It's gonna be fun until he's 18 and he wants to sue us for the usage of his name on the building.
Yes, like that Nirvana baby on the album cover. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna show up in his dad's blazer and be like, guys,
my name's on the building. Hey,
guys,
everybody.
Yeah, my share, please, Dad.
Yeah.
So, what is your basic thought as GKD in the music industry? What do you want to represent in the Philippines? What kind of a footprint do you want to make?
I think that we our basic tenets of why we started creating music has never changed, and I think that that's one of the things that has kind of kept us not only as business partners but just as like musicians sane. Is like we've always wanted to we wanted to make music, put our music out there and just make a living. And so as long as we get to continue to do that, that was great. But when we also found out that we could also put an advocacy component to it and try to make sure that artists like ourselves were treated better and treated, with more equitable contracts, that was really what we wanted to try to do, was create a more artist friendly environment. And especially in the Philippines, it's like the amount of people, it wasn't just that there wasn't transparency. It was that there wasn't a fundamental understanding of how you even get paid.
Yes.
As an artist, how do you get paid? Because the system there is very different from the rest of the world. There's management companies that are separate from recording labels, which in most places in the world, especially in the West, where the music industry is the largest, your record label is your management company.
Yes.
Right? You may have a manager that manages your day-to-day stuff that gets a small percentage, but your record label is your management company. And so there was a lot of odds on the way that artists get paid, and oftentimes that's why the artists would fail, is because they weren't setting out to give the artists careers in music. They were making them basically like influencers. Essentially. And they were making money off them by them going out and being influencers, but then they didn't get the music to keep up with it, and they didn't keep the fans. So really what we wanted to do was just provide a way to be able to have a music label that represents what we wish we had as artists growing up, giving artists fairer terms, giving them more creative freedom, and then also being able to use that for good.
And
that is cool. That is
really. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Really, really, honestly, and also for me, one big thing was to create a safe space for artists, and not the type of safe space that we hear about today, but just a place where these horror stories that you hear in Los Angeles and other places obviously in the world, but a lot of just horror stories coming from LA, where if you do this you get this, and just very nasty things going on. That was very important as well to me, because the thing about art is if you're not safe, you can't make good art.
That is true.
And if you don't feel like you can express yourself because something is happening or whatever it may be, you're not going to make good art. And
that is true.
What we saw in the Philippines was just a place where, especially financially, very unsafe for artists. Other things happened too, but mostly it was just the organization. And we wanted to go there and have our company make our small living, but then also raise the bar, because when an artist sees FINIX and getting this, that, and the other thing from a label as small as ours, they're gonna go to the label that they're with and go, yo, what's going on here? Why aren't we getting any of these things? And then they can advocate for themselves. So really just raise the bar. And we really wanted to work with other people. It ended up not going the way we planned. It wasn't as well received as we thought. But that's fine. We'll raise the bar on our own and make sure that there is a pathway for artists to have a safe place to make their make their music.
That is very good. What are you still experiencing these obstacles? Do you hear like direct conflict with other managements or labels, or are they just letting you do your thing?
You go ahead and tiptoe around that.
Tiptoe around that.
Okay. So one of the fun things that Lucas and I get to experience that a lot of other people don't. When we set out on this process, like we said, we wanted to be a safe space for artists, but in order for it to be a safe space, you have to have transparency. And in order to have transparency, that means opening yourself up to all of this, right? Yeah. And so we go on and we try to lift the curtain to the behind the scenes to what's happening. And regardless of whether you're in the US, the Philippines, Korea, it doesn't matter, right? The music industry is controlled by a select few major conglomerates. And when you give people information and they've never had it, and now they can ask questions and they can demand things, and that doesn't sit well with the bigger players, right? And so we are disruptors, for sure. And a lot of the people that have either invested in our company or taken a chance on us are also disruptors. It did very quickly go from we were the people that everybody reached out to and said, can we be on your show? Will you do interviews with our artists? Will you work with us? Like, can you help promote us? To as soon as we got there and started launching our groups and started releasing music. Yeah. It was kind of nobody can work with them anymore.
Yeah, it was crickets.
Public enemy number one.
Yeah. And so it is very interesting because there is a definite disconnect between some of the companies and the artists in what they want. And it's always been, the problem for me has always been, you hear a lot about Ppop rise. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of companies that are claiming that, but their actions do not represent that. For our standpoint, we always go with a rising tide lifts all boats. I don't care whether, in fact, when we first got there, we were writing a song that one of the situations where we went through like 3 different managers, and it was through, I think Sony was the head of that one. Yeah. We recorded a song with a group. And never saw the light of day after the first time that they came. And even during those moments, we never thought we have a girl group, so we shouldn't work with a girl group. We're working with this group or we're writing, like, that's not the way that it is. Rising tide lifts all boats. And for us, we're also still producers and songwriters ourselves. So it's like, if this group gets a song from us and does really, really well, that doesn't harm my other group, especially when there is no competition in the Philippines right now. There isn't enough groups for there to be competition based on the population density, right? In Korea, you've got, 500 groups that are all at like a tier B level or up that are pouring millions of dollars in. And then you have 1,000 to 3,000 more groups that are still popping up every day. That's competition, right? But in the Philippines, it's just like you have 2 groups that have theoretically made it in a country that has 117 million people. So we never looked at it as competition, and we wanted to raise the bar. We wanted to be able to work with other people, and cool. we've always been open to that. And we've
to this day, I'm pretty sure the sentiment is we will write one song for every single group out there.
Yep. For free.
For free.
Yeah.
Like you could name more off the top of your head, but I can name like 10, 12.
Yeah.
All 12 of them. We'll do 12. We'll do a song for each one of them for free.
Yeah.
Because we know that we're gonna write bangers. No, but we know we're gonna write a good song, and the product's gonna be good. So if there's 12 great songs going out all in the same month from Ppop, guess what's gonna happen? A new song's gonna come out from Kaya that we did, or maybe and then someone's like, wow, this is really good. And then the next thing that YouTube suggests is going to be FINIX, or the next thing that, so
is going to be G22. It's going to be right.
So like what? It doesn't make a difference to us.
Well, it's crazy because it would be one thing if this was like Korea, and the even C tier and D tier artists are still releasing 15 songs a year, right? Because you have to release that many songs. But the vast majority of these groups are releasing like a song or two a year, and have to promote that song for 8 months. And never none of the artists actually have enough to do their own shows or their own concerts, which is a whole nother conversation. But it is crazy when you're like, hey, these are free songs. And we had partnered with another company early on. It was another thing that just fell apart. But we were going to do a mixtape.
Yeah.
A Ppop mixtape, and we had reached out to all these groups. And at that point in time, there was actually we had to offer to pay through this program. We had to offer to pay people to write songs for them for free. And the vast majority of the companies still turned it down.
Oh, okay.
So it is one of those things where, it's just like, okay.
At this point, everyone knows our email if they want to, but
and people
it's
know
a hard road to travel.
Yeah. And people know who we are. Like, that's the funny thing is, like, people be like, have you ever reached out to them? Like, we know most of the artists have at some point in time watched our reaction videos and seen or commented on the reaction videos.
Yeah.
We worked and talked with the vast majority of their management companies already, from literally every single management company I think that we've had conversations with. Yeah. And so they know who we are. So we did get to the point where we're just like, if they want to reach out, that's fine. We wrote so many songs for groups.
Yeah.
Once we got there too.
We still got them.
Yeah, we still got them.
That's cool. Are you limiting yourself to Ppop, or are you actually also writing like band songs for OPM artists, like live bands?
Yeah, we didn't limit ourselves. Early on, it was kind of our niche. Personally, we believe that Ppop is going to be, if there's going to be a real future for the Filipino music industry from a worldwide standpoint, it will be in Ppop. And that is mostly due to the fact that it's going to have more global appeal than a lot of like the home base OPM music. Now, I love OPM. Yeah. Lucas loves OPM, and because we're musicians. But a lot of the music that's coming out of the OPM scene does still sound like a lot of the music that was already here 15, 20 years ago. It's a little bit older in style, and because of the language barrier as well. The problem is it's not like even like Korean, where it's become this phenomenon. Tagalog isn't a very widely spoken language, and really so like. I think that's difficult, but we have talked to a couple of OPM groups
just recently,
and are open to working on stuff like that. And in fact, that's I think one of the things that we're going to start looking at more in the future. That is cool. Talk to doing more on the OPM scene, because we can write whatever.
Well, yeah. So So before we started doing K-pop and pitching K-pop songs and P-pop songs, that's where we lived. We lived in the rock space. In the band space.
Yes, exactly. Me too. That's my base. Yeah.
Right. Yep. So it's been a little while, I guess, since I produced a band style song, but at this point, I mean, that'd be very easy.
Ironically, it's so much easier because we are working with some local bands right now here too, because we have U.S. clients, and it's like going from having to mix like 15 synths and 50 layers of vocals to like mixing like a rock song or like just a standard pop song is just like it's like
night and day.
Playing. Yeah. I know you don't do this. Are you a gamer, Pierre? Do you play video games at all?
Yes, of course.
Yes. It's like the difference between like playing Dark Souls for 5 years and then going back and playing a new Pokemon game.
Yeah.
It's easier,
Yes.
So yeah,
I can understand that. It's a basic understanding and feel for music. If you know how a band works, then I think it's easier to compose songs in general, because it's the basics.
Well, and bands also tend to do a lot of like when you join a band, generally you're already a musician.
Right.
Yes.
So it is a little bit different where like with the idol scene, many of the people that come on, like, okay, some of them might be singers, but many of the people that come on, they don't necessarily have any background in music theory or an understanding of like so you're doing and creating a lot of the work from scratch. And you're still trying to do what they want you to do. So you're where a lot of the bands that we've worked with, they have at least a very good direction of where they want to go. They can play the instrumentation. Right. So we're not doing, in the vast majority of our songs, Sumagal Saakin, we had an entire orchestra that was done by hand.
Yeah.
So it's.
That's, by the way, that's an absolutely great song. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
Just different topic, but I really, really like that very epic drop in the song. And then Zia comes in with her soft voice, really high. I love that part. It is amazing.
Yeah.
And the video is cool. The black and white video, wow.
Yeah. Shout out to TSU on
TSU
that one. They did a phenomenal job. All three of those videos, those girls were up forever. All three of those videos were shot the same day.
Whoa.
Yeah, they were all, fun fact, they were all shot the same day, and I think the shoot was like 18 hours or 19 hours or something like that. And they were all and Sumagal Saakin was the last one that they filmed.
Yeah.
And was the one that was the vocal intensive one.
Right.
So, yeah, it was a lot of work, but huge shout out to them. They did an amazing job.
Got a bunch of fighters there. Definitely a bunch of fighters.
The girls, we haven't even gotten a chance to talk about the girls yet, but especially recently, I got off a call with them this morning, and we were just kind of talking about the new release, which comes out. By the time that this is out, it'll be out. Thanks for the Rain.
It's out now.
It is. The song is out now. The video is not out, but the song's out. And it was one of those things where like they never cease to amaze us on a daily basis of not only the amount of work and talent that they have, but like they push to raise the bar themselves.
Yeah.
And when whoever sees the Thanks for the Rain video, I mean, like they literally, this was an idea that they pitched us. This was an idea that they literally from scratch found the cast, did the outfits, found the location, made up the location, did the lighting, filmed it all, edited it all. And it was just, it's so incredible to see them learn and like from where they were to where they are. And that's one of the biggest differences of like what we do with our groups though as well, is like we're not looking for groups that are like, here's a song, go do it. We really want to enhance the artistry, and so we do things like songwriting classes and production classes. We purposely brought on a music producer that could help, and they've been now doing all of their own audio engineering for the songs.
Very cool.
And so it's like, it is very, very cool to watch them grow in real time, and I couldn't have anticipated how fast that they would actually do it.
Yeah, It's really, really cool. So the way that we've always wanted to have the label is the way that it is right now.
Yeah.
The way that the girls work. Like, you've been a musician for a long time, right? You've known other musicians, and you know that with the majority of musicians, it's like, hey man, did you learn the song that we did last week? No, I forgot. I was with my girlfriend, and then I was out. Okay. Hey, we have a show tomorrow at 6 a.m. It's 5. You didn't sleep yet. You know what I mean? Like that's the normal artist thing, and like that's something that we at our label, because of how much we trust the artist to be able to be an artist and actually express themselves. At our label, we can't do that. We have to have people that are not just remarkable, but then at the same time they have to have the discipline to work and put that out. And these girls are exactly that. We've never had to tell them anything.
Yeah.
But I think the good part is that they felt that you are giving them some sort of a creative freedom, And that's where they found their own responsibility for that too, because it's their dream. And so they pitched in and said, "Yeah, we got to do this," you know?
You nailed it on the head. It's the dream part. And far too often, I think that people say that they have a dream, but the dream for a lot of artists is they just want to make it big. They want to go viral. That's not a good dream to have, right?
No.
If your dream isn't to make art or to make a difference or to make songs that change people, you don't have a good enough driver during the downturns to keep you motivated and keep you going. And the girls just, we call them girls because some of them have literally been with us since they were girls.
Yeah.
And to us, they're like our kids at this point, you know. But
they are women.
They are women, and they're incredibly intelligent and self-sufficient, and it is their passion that drives them, and they just take it seriously. They take this opportunity very seriously. And it's what we get the conversations, the questions sometimes about like the K-pop to P-pop argument.
Yeah.
Of like what's the difference, right? And we always kind of come with it's always the same thing. Pop is pop, you know. K-pop, J-pop, P-pop, I-pop, M-pop, T-pop. It's all honestly coming from the same place. And the people that are like, oh, it all emulates K-pop. It actually all started in the West and in the UK to begin with, right? Boy bands started from as early as the Beatles to, you know, hair bands and hair bands, and then the Backstreet Boys, right, took it mainstream, and so it's pop music, right? But I honestly do think that there is a big difference right now, and the one biggest thing that is separating K-pop from P-pop currently is discipline.
Yes.
We see that across the board, and that's not just coming from the artists, that's coming from the staff, the management, like through the board. I don't think that people realize, unless you're exposed to it, how high the bar is. And because we're from the US, it's like you have to be at such a level just to make it a living in music here, that if you're not at that level, you might as well just call it quits and go home. You're not ever gonna do anything. And that bar is so high across the world, especially in places like J-pop and K-pop, and you don't see that kind of work going on in P-pop in general. You do see it with some of the groups,
yes,
like the specific groups, but not as a whole yet.
That is true. That is cool. I do. You can, just by watching the girls. I haven't, and of course we're going to say girls because it is still called a girl group.
It's a girl group, right?
So, but what I do see, there's something you see in somebody's eyes. You see that hunger. That you see that we want it. We want it now, and there's not a single one of them who is not running towards that dream, and I just love it. That's really cool to see.
Yeah, and from them, it's also what keeps groups together. You know, they have one common goal, and one of the things that when we set out to create the group, one of the things that we didn't want to do, and it is the way that you see a lot of groups put together across not just P-pop but K-pop as well. Oftentimes groups are put together by like these shows, but they're like either survival shows, or they find people that like won this show, right? The best vocalists of these three shows. And then they put these groups together. And they don't work a lot of times, because finding 4 divas or 5 divas, male, female, whatever, and putting them together and thinking that they're going to be as a good team, that doesn't work, especially in the idol industry. And unless everybody is dropping their self-interest for the group 100%, the group will fail. And we've seen this over and over again. Doesn't matter whether it's bands or idol groups. It's even more important idol groups. And I think that's one of the things that the girls do share is they're all in it collectively 100%.
That's one big thing about the Philippines, though. There is this collective hive mind of, even with all the corruption and everything going on, but the people are like a unit, and you can just feel that somehow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. When did you take on the first 2-3 girls for FINIX, and when did you start saying, okay, let's try this with them, or how did all of that begin?
Well, we started in May of 2023. We started doing the first round of auditions. Through that, we had an entire group built within a couple of weeks, 4 girls. And this is where a little bit of our inexperience, when you start and you're optimistic and you're like, no, we're gonna do it different. Sometimes it doesn't go that well. And so we have 4 girls. And within a week of having all of them agreed to do this, 3 of them are already gone.
Yeah.
Again, mostly due to that self-interest thing. Because they would get like a small offer here, and they're like, well, what do you mean I can't do that and be in the group? And it's just like, we're going to be training you guys over the course of years. You have to be willing to be in the group. And so that went. And then we started again. We found 4 again. And that's when the leader was the one that actually had stayed from the beginning. And then we found 3 more, and we moved them into a house to begin training. Yeah. And for us, training is very different because we know, and we knew at that point in time, that a lot of these people aren't gonna get along. And again, a lot of people think that they want to be an idol until they realize that it's 8 to 12 plus hours a day of real training.
Yes.
And then they're like, I want to be the idol, but I don't want to do that, right? And so it was pretty quick. We lost one of the trainees. Left. We gained another one, lost another one. And so at that point in time, we had kind of known that, all right, in order to make this happen, we needed to put a more long-term plan in place. And so as they kept doing social media stuff, we kept just doing their training and giving them spaces to be able to train, and kept providing, like, all of our artists that have ever come with us, they were provided with housing. They were providing with food. They were provided with allowances. They actually have nothing that they have to pay for individually when they come onto us. And this is very, very different than the vast majority of labels, in addition to the fact that they also have some of the best recording contracts out there. So we offer a lot. And again, the girls just really took it seriously. And
that's good.
And ultimately, that's when we decided to do the show, because we were like, okay, we can't. We had, at the time, 3 what we thought three really solid girls, but one girl in particular was kind of who we had known that we were going to build the group around.
So that would be Aki?
That was Aki, because she was just amazing all around her. She just, it was insane how fast she picked up anything she put her mind to. And she just had this charisma about her, and she was very well spoken.
That is the charisma part. Yes, that is true. I mean, in the Wish Bus, she was sitting in the center, just like the boss herself. It was absolutely amazing. Just the visual part of that. She was in dead center, and that just said it all.
Well, and the funny part about her is like, that's not an act.
No.
Like, it's not like, for most, honestly, for our girls in general, and we wanted to do that with this group. We wanted to create a group that the girls already fit into the concept, rather than them having to play a part.
Right.
Because it's already difficult enough to be an idol. And so the girls' personas, like who they are, is really who they get to be, who they are.
Right.
Yes, they feel very authentic. They do feel very authentic.
Yeah.
That is
and
cool.
So go ahead.
So they live in one house together now? At the moment?
Right now they live all together, yep.
Okay, cool, okay.
Yeah, and for us, that's extremely important, because it is, especially when you're doing something like this, and the Korean system is the same way for most of the groups. It's very, very hard to keep that group dynamic up, whether it be training or just that kind of the family bond, when you're not living together, and it ends up leading to a lot of issues or a lot of animosity, especially early on.
Definitely. They have to get used to each other, have to get along. You have to have a special chemistry there just to make it work in the end.
And that's ultimately why we ended up doing the show afterwards, because the first thing that we did every time that we got our, like, the artists when they came in, we don't let them do anything really. They do basic training for a couple hours a day, but for the first 30 days that they're with us, we just let them be. They need to get to know each other, right? Because again, if you're going to start spending all kinds of money on training people and doing that, like they need to work well with one another. Yep. And we're glad that we did, because early that's how we found out that some of the members wouldn't work. And when we did the show, I remember when the show started airing, because we did the show in coordination with TV36. So TV36 did all of the production elements of the show, all between the audio and the visuals and everything. That was in charge of them. So we didn't really get a say in that. And there were some issues with the show. There was some footage that got lost through old technology that broke. So like it's sad, because the actual footage from the show was so amazing.
So good.
So amazing. And that's also why there's audio issues in the show, because they lost the audio files got lost. Wow, so they had to use like camera audio, as opposed to like we all had lapel mics, and like there was good audio. And
shout out Johnny Boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Not in a negative way.
Yeah, no.
I just remember
there was a
I have
whole
a fond memory of him.
There was a whole team, because they did basically what happened was there was a meltdown of the hard drive, like the NS whatever D system, whatever it is, with all the hard drives, and all of it got screwed up. So they but we had already made these promises on the show, like to sponsors and things like that. So we had to recreate the show. They brought in a team and like literally with 10% of the footage that we had from the show, we had to create an 8-episode show. Which is why you and I are like talking through the vast majority of talking about what happened or what went on.
That was the worst part, because the way that I saw it, I was like, oh no, because like people already like have a thing where it's like we talk too much. You know what I mean? So like I was like, oh no, like now we're gonna put out a show and just like be shoving ourselves into it, but we didn't have a choice. We didn't have a choice.
Yeah, we were supposed to not be really in the show at all. Besides for the judging parts, and that we had to reinsert. But when we set up the show, one of the most important things to us was not. It wasn't that some of the girls didn't have talent, but it wasn't about finding like the best vocalists or the best rappers or the best dancers. No. We approached the show with finding the people with the best mentality and that could be good team players, because the rest was something that we were going to teach them. As long as they had the building blocks, you can teach them the rest. But that's the we were doing the exact opposite of what everybody else in the industry was doing, which was just finding the best singers, the best dancers, and those people we had already experienced it at that point in time. That does not make good groups. And I remember there was one girl in particular that, like, there was a lot of them in the comments of like, well, why did you choose this person and not this person? And there's one girl in particular that I'm gonna just say out loud, because Manea. So Manea, I remember Manea came. She was I think she was the last person that came on day. It was day 1 or day 2. She was the last person, and she came in, and she was not really prepared for the show to begin with. And she had never done anything like this before, but she just wanted to do it. And so she came, but there was a look about her. The way she talked was very engaging. Like there was some draw to her. And she did okay. She did okay on the song aspect. She did pretty well. I really liked her rapping. I remember that. She wasn't really a dancer, but she did okay in all the rounds. But comparatively to some of the other contestants that we had seen that day, and I don't know why, but there was something about her and something about her spirit. And I remember I asked her the question of like, why do you want to be here? And she was like, well, she's like, honestly, I really want to do this. I just wanted to give it a shot. I just wanted to see if I could do it. And that to me was like it's the building blocks for a really great motivator, because a lot of people were there again because they wanted to be idols and they wanted to be famous. And for her, she's just like, no, I want to test my limits. And that means that she's got some internal push to her. And we pushed on the show, and we ended up letting her through. And then during which a lot of people were not a fan of. And then during the training days, she was so far behind the other girls, because again, a lot of these people came with experience, and she got injured on like the second day like the 8-day training or whatever it was. Fought through it the entire time. Fought through the pain, danced through it, like refused to give up. Figured out ways, stayed up every night until like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning because she was so far behind. to learn the choreography on her own. And then it comes to find out, we didn't know this until after she was already selected, that there was a story that came out that the morning she got there, she actually arrived 2 hours late. Because she never had received like the email or something like that. She didn't think she received it. Then she found it. And she was supposed to go to a job interview that day. She canceled the job interview last minute. She's from Batangas. So she came like hours on a bus to get there. So she showed up late, not even knowing if she would have a chance to get in. And then it just like it made her story make so much more sense because she is the she is a very good representation of like what the everyday Filipino goes through, from her background to where she lived and being from the provinces, and like, you know, she is and that's the person that we were looking for, though.
Yeah,
and she didn't prove us wrong.
Now you look at her, you're like, that's an idol.
Yeah, exactly.
Idol.
Wow, that is cool. That's a cool story. That is a very cool story. Did you think about the sound of FINIX early on, or did you just let that develop?
No, we had a concept for FINIX in mind before we even started recruiting for the group. So again, because when you do these groups, it's not as simple as like, okay, you know, let's just make music, right? And that's one thing. Another thing that K-pop succeeds really well in, because of the discipline, is that they're planned out 2 years, right? In music and the concept. So we knew that we wanted to create a group, but what was missing in the Philippines was a rap group.
Yeah.
There wasn't an XG. There wasn't even like a Baby Monster type, right? Everything was very cutesy. Everything was very bubblegum. From, you know, Beanie at the time, Beanie, Kaya, you know, Dion was a little bit, but Dion was already kind of like and wasn't really around much anymore. But there wasn't really any groups that took up that space. And so we did know from the early on. And we had already been writing, because we had been pitching our songs to Korean groups and K-pop groups early on. So we had like this song repertoire already of songs that we had written that were actually originally written in English. Then we hired a demo vocalist, had them all redone in Korean.
Yeah.
And so like, because we were pitching them there, and so like we did have quite a few songs already that we were like, that we knew the type of group that we wanted to create.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
What we didn't
No, go ahead.
What we didn't anticipate when we got the group was we weren't looking necessarily for singers.
Yeah.
And so we were making a rap group, and then all of a sudden we end up getting this group, and they worked so hard to catch up on the vocals, and we were able to do songs like Sumagal sa Akin. And that song came later because we had never anticipated that the group would be able to do it. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, they were learning the vocals so fast that we were like, okay, now we can create some vocal songs. And so we did.
It was it was like, we need you girls to catch up, or, you know, this girl, and then it's like, hey, how are you guys doing on the okay, cool, I guess we're good now. You know?
My God, that is cool. That is very, very cool. The thing is, now with having vocalists and rappers all combined, all doors are open. I mean, it's so cool. Creatively, you can basically do anything now. That is really nice. How can the girls put in their own creativity into? Do they write their lyrics, or do you give them themes? Or, I mean, a rap part, of course, it's better if the rapper does it himself or herself because of the flow.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great. Was that your phone? Mm-hmm. Is that your phone's talking to you right now? He wants to answer. The phone wants to answer the question. The collaborative process is really cool. When it first started, obviously, we were a lot more hands-on during the early days because, you know, they were still doing a lot of training and they were learning a lot of things. And every single time we've had a new release, which is very often for us, they raise the bar and they do a little bit more and they do a little bit more.
Wow.
And so the first 4 songs, it was really a lot. The songs were, for the most part, the building blocks were already there that we had created, and we would write the songs in English, and then we would go back and forth and, you know, like, hey, let's change some lyrics up, you know, put your spin on it. And we were using those really as a kind of a training for their sound and what they could potentially do. So the first 4 were really of like, what can we push these girls with?
Yeah.
Which is why it's pre-debut. And then the second set of songs that we're doing right now, that was to push their limits and their creativity. And
Very
so
cool.
for this round of songs, it was much more of a we already have basically it was already announced on the news media. So basically there is a guaranteed 27 songs total that would be released by the end of Q2 of next year. So that's already been announced on media. That was something that leaked that wasn't supposed to leak, but there's a newspaper article about it. So now we have to. Yeah. But I mean, we have all of the songs are already mostly written, right?
Yeah.
And so we were way ahead of this because we would do writing basically sit downs, and we would just take weeks and we would write songs and go back and forth with them. And then for this one, though, it was really pushing that envelope of getting them more involved. They were the first ones where they were starting to engineer themselves. So we do calls like this. We get on Zoom or we get on Viber, and literally we have a thing set up so we can hear everything that's going on, and we can help coach them still and go through it. But they're engineering and learning more on their own.
And so they're just sprinkling in some Tagalog sentences here and there, taking out English or...
It depends. Honestly, the funny thing is we sometimes push them and we're like, hey, we need this song to be more Tagalog. And they're like, no.
Yeah.
And they'll write it and they'll write it because I think that the weird thing is that we see in the Ppop space, there's a lot of keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
And everybody like wants things to be a specific way. And unfortunately people get caught in that space. But the vast majority of the artists that they're looking up to or that they're listening to, like that demographic, Generation Alpha and Generation Z, they're English artists. They're growing up speaking English. All of our girls are like fluent. Like there's one girl that when she talks, you're like, are you from? But like some of our girls, it's like you can't. They emulate even like a U.S. accent so well.
Okay. Wow.
And that was something that they just came with. And so we don't dictate to them on like how much of the song needs to be in what.
Yeah.
There are some times where we're like, hey, this type of song probably is going to land better in this language. But for the most part, they get to make the decisions on that. If the song should be in English, if the song should be in Tagalog, whatever they want to do. And then we just do the back and forth.
That is actually amazing because as we just said before, you guys are giving them so much creative freedom to actually be artists and not just singing puppets in front of a microphone.
Right.
That is cool. That is really, really cool. During their pre-debut, did you have some kind of a moment where you got emotional a bit, where you said, oh my God, this is really starting to work. This is good.
There was multiple moments.
I was going to say like every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the first one was we did talk about before that we were considering hanging it up, and I remember at the first live audition rounds when we were doing the 3 days, it was like day 2, and you and I were sitting at lunch.
Yeah.
And we both looked at each other at that point in time. We're like, I don't think that we give up yet. I think that we see this through because there was just something about the group of girls that we were starting to see. And then the show happened, and it was even more, right? Because there was a lot of time between the auditions, the live audition process, and then when the show was filmed. There was like 4 or 5 weeks in between that period. And then it was just like, man, every time that they would do like internal performances for us, you know, because we did a lot of like internal performances and training. I remember there was one time when one of the larger labels came by.
Yeah.
And the girls all had to perform in front of them. And I was like, man. So yeah, it just, there's so many moments, you know? And then I remember the first time when they filmed all of the MVs.
Yeah.
I think that was the time though that we were like, they are at such a different level because it was the first time that they had been on camera like that. It was the first time that they had to perform to that level, and they had such little time because the song at that point in time, the group was still really, really newly like cemented of who the members were. And I think when they filmed, I think that they only had 2 weeks at that point in time where they finalized the choreography for Thirsty and Click Click Boom.
Yeah.
at that point.
Wow.
By the time that they filmed the performance videos. And so it was like when we saw the rough cuts of the performance videos, that was the first time where it was like, that they're it.
Yeah.
Like they have it. They,
yes.
You know. And then there's just, every couple of weeks since then, they do something that amazes us.
The craziest part about it is, for the last almost 3 years now, we're putting all this stuff together, we're doing all these things, we're writing all these songs, we're going back and forth with this, that, and the other thing, and there was no product to see what we've done.
Yeah.
It's like everything was theoretical up until that point. And then once the music video was done and out and people were responding, it's been like, that means the last 2.5 years wasn't just like an imagination thing that we were doing.
Yeah.
You know
the baby
I mean?
was born.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that was so big, and the fact that the girls can actually, not only can they handle it, but they're going above and beyond. It's like, okay, so everything that we've done is not only is it working, but we actually have the right people, and like that we picked the right people. You know, like it was that was a huge thing for me, because I'm a doomsday in my head. You know, Josh knows this. Like all the time, I'm like, what am I even? I'm not even. You know, and I think a lot of people go through that too. But like for me to finally see it be, you know, like the group actually come out and have those videos go out, I was just like, I can't believe we made it. I can't believe we made it to this point.
The most emotional I think that we had gotten was when we reacted. The first time that I got super, super emotional was when we reacted to the Wish Bus.
Yeah, God.
Because it was this crazy full circle moment.
Yeah.
Of like, the Wish Bus is what took us to the Philippines, really, and like seeing your own artist on the Wish Bus, and they were doing so well. The video was doing really well, especially for like, they're not even a debut group; they were a pre-debut group,
right?
And they got on, because a lot of the groups you go and perform, but you don't get on the actual channel, and so that was a super emotional moment, I think.
That is cool. That is very, very cool. Did that, you being such a doomsday head, did that at least give you like a little percentage of peace of mind? Or are you still that doomsday guy?
I mean, it's yes. It's a thing. It's a thing. But it helps me out a lot, because I end up trying to make myself really good at stuff so that bad things don't happen.
I know.
But I mean, of course, all these things are, right now is the best time as far as just the good things happening are happening.
Right, because that's really it's basically the same with you guys. Feeling that pressure being taken off now that the girls are actually, now that it's working, you guys even get to be creatively more creative. Your art is starting to breathe again, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was very difficult for us for a while. Again, we did share a lot of trials when we first got there.
Yeah.
And you know, again, we put ourselves out there and invested a ton of money, and it was also, there was questions about us, and like, you can't go and like, I remember one of the big things was like, when are the girl groups going to release? When are the girl, like, we had announced them like as trainees, and it was like 2 months, and people were like, why aren't they released yet? Because there's just this very weird standard. It's like, it's going to be years.
Yeah.
Like, we're actually going to train our artists. We're not just going to put them out there, you know? And so it is very freeing, as you're saying, because people can have whatever opinions they want, but numbers are facts. Right.
Very
and when
true.
they're getting streams and they're getting the views and stuff like that, it at the end of the day, that's ultimately how businesses succeed or fail. And, you know, that's what matters. So,
yeah. And
that is cool.
One of the things that we didn't do the entire time they were training, the entire time we're trying to get them put out, was reaction videos.
Yeah.
We had shut down our channel. We had given our channel to the girls, but then we had shut down. We haven't done them for months. We tried, and then it's like we couldn't even focus to think about possibly serving anybody but the team.
Yeah.
Because it was so nerve-wracking, because we didn't know if it was gonna actually work or ever come to fruition. So when it did, we were like, okay, like now we can breathe. We can go back to our audience and, you know, say hi and get back to what got us started in the first place.
Yeah.
you know.
That's cool. I actually sat down and watched that last video you made on your old channel before handing it over. It was like what? It was an hour long or something. You talked
Yeah.
about everything. I,
Yeah.
I that was very very impressive. I mean, just I already saw these guys are really in it with all their heart. They're just, I mean, they've built up that channel and now they're just handing it over to their baby. That's
Yeah.
and that is really really cool. Where are Phoenix going? What are new things that we might? I mean, you mentioned a new song, and yes,
Yeah.
you guys have let me take a look at the video, and I am overly impressed. Very cool. But what else is coming? Are there maybe like some collaborations or other things going on?
Well, again, there's 27 songs that'll be released between now and Q2 of next year. So there's that. And I can't really talk about the way that they're going to be released, but
Okay.
there's a lot coming. So this will be the largest Ppop debut of ever,
Yeah.
ever, in terms of the amount of songs. And what we're trying to do is really keep up with the K-pop acts, and the vast majority of K-pop acts in the top 10, top even 25 are releasing 15 plus songs per year.
Yeah. Unless you're Blackpink.
And right, they're the exception. They are
After
they are
3 years, they gave us one song.
Yeah.
yeah, but they're the exception. That is not the rule.
They are the Gucci bag of
yeah,
of
yeah.
K-pop.
Yes.
But this series of music that's coming out, the first thing that we again wanted to do is allow the girls to explore themselves and explore their voice and explore their advocacy. And I think that you're definitely going to see that in this video. I mean, we can talk about it right now because by the time that this comes out, the video will be out.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in the video, that song took such a change. That song was not meant to be part of this series of songs that are coming out right now.
Right.
It wasn't even in our lineup for the 27 originally.
Right.
It was a song that it was during the last rainy season. Raining in Manila was super popular at the time, and we were kind of just reminiscing or talking about the rainy season and how the tragedies and stuff, and the girls had brought up at that point in time, like wanting to say something about it, because as much as there is like Raining Manila is this very very uplifting song, every single season is filled with tragedy.
Yes.
And that's something that we've seen this year. And I remember far before the Trillion Peso March and far before the floods even happened again this year, we had conversations about kind of the direction that we wanted to go. And one of the things that they had talked about wanting to talk about was releasing a song for the rainy season, but making it and talking about the issues
Yeah.
with it. And so we were like, okay, well, we have this song that we had started working on that kind of had some bare bones to it. It was just, I think it was just like a A/B demo, right? It was just like an intro
verse.
and up to the first chorus.
Yeah.
But it had good bones. So we started going back and forth on that song and like, okay, what do you want to say? And so one of the things that we've been able to do is we've really been able to learn the girls. We know their personalities and we know their voice now. And like, so when we're able to write songs now, we are able to like, you tell us what we want. We'll get it a good start for you. And so they wanted to talk about the issues with the floods. And so we started the song. And then all of a sudden this whole thing with the floods happens this year.
Wow.
And the corruption thing happens. And everything changed.
Yeah.
Because again, the girls, you are never going to tell those girls who to be, right? Like we couldn't, even if we wanted to as a label, if I wanted to go and be like, you are going to do this today, they would be like, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and respectfully, of course. But, and that's not the relationship, A, that we have, or B, that wasn't what we wanted. We wanted, and they're extremely bright and extremely intelligent, and they're well-spoken, and they know what they want to say.
That is good.
They're not going to allow anybody to tell them what kind of music to do, who to be. They are who they are. And at that point in time, they're like, we want to say something about this. Like, and as a label, one of the cool things that they get is like, we are not tied. A lot of the labels, the issue is in the Philippines, everything is politics, right? Everything is tied to political money. And we don't have that holding us back.
So they can be open.
So they can do whatever they want. And so we said, okay, what do you want to say? and they pitched us this story. And this is kind of where this home series started. And they pitched us this story about this little girl named Arya, and this tragedy that befalls her. And it was interesting because the song that we had been writing at the time was very upbeat.
Yes.
And so then we had to kind of figure out, okay, well, how does that work? How do we take an upbeat song to not make it sound tone deaf, like to tell the story? And it took months, and we went back and forth, and then they started incorporating the corruption scandals and the things like that in it. And they're like, we want this to be a statement, and then we made the decision too. We're like, okay, well, this isn't something that we should be monetizing, and so all of the proceeds for the song are going to be donated to the Red Cross from the MV. But it was just incredible how they really kind of started getting involved in the songwriting process, and that's how it just was months of going back and forth and really kind of figuring out the exact way we wanted to say the story, how they wanted it to resonate with people, how they wanted to make sure that like it left. Essentially, it's like these kids, Arya in there. At the end, there's that glitch, and the end is kind of the final scar that is left onto children, but children always have this amazing hope to them. And so what we would do when we did interviews about this, when we talked to the girls and talked to friends and family members, we interviewed to make sure that we were like, okay, we need to tell the people's story.
Yes.
And each person had this fond memory from when they were kids, like especially like from the poor places where like they would be out swimming in the floodwaters and stuff because as kids, but also the people that had lost, there were these scars that were left. So while they felt something fond about it, and at the end, that scar of Arya losing her family, that is felt in that ending glitch of like as much hope as kids have, these things stay with them. Yes. And they wanted the video to be more of a movie and a film because that's also supposed to be the scar. Right now, the problem is the corruption keeps getting forgotten. Every single year, the same thing happens, and then it goes away and it gets swept under the rug. And so this is supposed to be one of the things that stays. It's their scar. It's the one that they can't make go away. And the hope is that it can motivate or help in any way people to be able to, not forget and make sure that, in any way that they can help, whether it be through the Red Cross or through listening to a song and maybe finding a little bit of solace, that's there. So that's where Thanks for the Rain came from. And all of that was them.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Like, that's the crazy thing.
Much respect. That is actually really cool. But the thing I liked is just as you said, they can be who they are. It's not the money that's the politics. It's not none of that. It's who they are. And I think that just makes them like a spokesperson of the people.
Yeah.
And not a chess piece of whoever is ruling. And I think that is really cool. That gives them sort of like a level of many of the old school rappers who are talking about what is actually happening, who are on a level of Glock 9 lyrically, who are talking about the problems. And I think that is very important for a new group who jump onto the scene and just say, hey, here we are, listen. Yeah. We're not sugarcoating anything here.
And when it comes to the one thing that I can promise people, when you said like what's coming for FINIX, again, that story that they have wanted to tell, that's something that we've been working on since the inception of this group. Since it was conceived. And so everything, people don't pay attention enough. Everything has breadcrumbs. Everything that the girls drop, everything that the label drops, generally there are breadcrumbs everywhere for our future projects, for things that are coming out, for future songs. But the storyline, there is a storyline that continues through all of this that has very, very similar themes, that is really about taking on broken systems in general. And for them, the Philippines is still one of the, I talk to people around here that don't know, but the Philippines is still one of the only countries in the world that divorce doesn't exist.
Yes.
Right? And that always negatively impacts women. And so there's a lot of things that they wanted to take on, and there's a lot of things that they want to talk about. And those themes reoccur in everything that they do, from the MVs to that to some other cool projects that are coming.
That is very, very cool.
Man, sometimes I wish that we could talk about, but there is some really, really cool. The things that are planned for the group are not. They're not just music related. There's a lot of other side things that are coming.
Okay.
So
If I may ask, I don't know if I'm jumping onto something.
No, it's okay.
Are you? I would think it's very interesting. The girls being the way they are, the way they have that freedom. Is there maybe like the idea of trying something like a conceptual album with the story of a person in the album? You know, like the old rock bands used to do, something like that. You know.
You will have to stay tuned for the albums.
Yeah.
I will have to stay tuned. Okay. Because I am hearing hints of it would be so cool, because that is something that I haven't really heard of from the Philippines or in K-pop in general. Some little 2-3 songs that fit together, but not really a whole conceptual album.
Yeah, for both of us in general. I mean, again, there's a reason I have the BTS tattoos on my arm, but they are really a group that we have looked up to when designing this group, of kind of being against the grain, and also that concept that literally went from the beginning all the way till today. There is this huge storyline and concept of 50, 60 videos and songs that all intertwine into this overarching storyline. And
Very cool.
Yeah.
I like the fact that I mean, with a group like that, and with the openness and the freedom, you could even just pick out big stories that are local, that everybody knows about, and make a song about it. Like BTS made that song about the Sewol ferry tragedy.
Yeah. Spring Day.
You know, something like that. It's just there are possibilities there that can just hit the whole country differently when they hear that song.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what happened with Thanks for the Rain, right? It was meant for something else, but it's also one of the things. The interesting model that we have as a company is we are the producers, much like the K-pop companies. That's one of the things they have going for them, because they are the record label and the management company. They are the producers, and they can act very, very quickly. And the one thing that we have going for us is the music. We don't have all of the money that some of the big guys have. We don't have all the resources. We don't have all the relationships, but we have the music. And so we are able to adjust and adapt very, very quickly to trends, to different things that are happening, and make sure that the girls have a constant stream of music for their fans.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just more important to throw out some music instead of having money and think about it for a half a year. Yeah. You have to react sometimes instead of wait and let it simmer. That's really, really cool. I'm very, very much looking forward to where these ladies are going. Yeah. Very interesting. Where, or let me put it differently. If you guys could time travel, what would your now self tell your starting self, like 5, 6, 7 years ago? What would you tell them? Would you try to erase that overthinking part?
Dude, I don't know. That's a tough one. Honestly, I don't think I would say a single word. I wouldn't even.
Very good. Very good.
I as much as I would want to, I'd just be like, I just back out of the room and be like, because the amount of things that we've learned the last few years, we went into this knowing a good amount about the business, and now we know so much more. We understand our workflow more. We definitely understand our pain threshold, each other's pain threshold.
Yeah.
And because at this point, not only aside from maybe like just some financial things that aren't quite where we'd want them, we know what we're capable of. We know how to push each other. We know how to talk each other off the bridge. You know what I mean? Like all these things that we know now, like it wouldn't have happened without all of the things that happened. So
Yeah.
the only reason I would go back in time and talk to myself would be to warn myself to not get into some situation when at the same time, like, that situation is the reason why we
Yeah.
are so confident now. You know?
Yeah. I mean, the reality is, at the end of the day, 99% of labels fail within the first year. And, you know, we've been able to make it through the middle of a pandemic and move to a country that has a very broken system and somehow still make it beyond, you know, the 3-year mark without going bankrupt. And so
That is good.
it is one of those things that it's the same thing. It's like your mistakes are also, they're only mistakes if you don't learn from them.
That is
And
true.
when you ask, like, any big business person, any person that's had a ton of success, when you ask them, like, hey, you know, how did you just, you just open your business, now you're a millionaire, like, how'd you do it? And every single one of them will tell you, I didn't just do it. I failed 4 times, or like failed 4
Right.
businesses before
Right.
I to learn enough to open the 5th business. And I feel like, you know, there was a lot of that happened. They weren't necessarily failures, but they were things that we just weren't anticipating, or you couldn't anticipate, or weren't expecting. But each one of those things made us stronger.
Yeah.
Each one of
Right.
those things made us more aware and understanding how to navigate a very difficult system. And so it's the same thing. I wouldn't change anything, because all of those things, like even the group that we have today, it's funny. There are a bunch of things that went wrong in an order that seems on its own seems like chaos. But if any one of those things hadn't had gone wrong, we wouldn't have done the show. We wouldn't have
That
picked,
is
like,
it.
specifically, we picked the girls we picked because of all of the things that we had faced.
Yes.
Had we had not faced those things, we would have picked probably completely different girls and not had the right group, and probably wouldn't be sitting here today. And so all of those mistakes, all of those things that went wrong, all of the things that didn't turn out the way that we wanted them to, somehow led us to something really, really good
Yes.
that we can be
Right,
proud of.
right. That's why I like what you said. Every step we take makes us the person we are today.
Yeah.
So, and if we're feeling good the way we are right now, then we have to relive all of that to become this person. So I wouldn't change anything either. That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very good. I just tell myself a couple of nice baseball games or football games where I could bet on and maybe win something.
Get a little bit more money. Yeah.
But apart from that, I wouldn't tell myself
Invest
anything.
more into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not
Oh
take-
yeah. My God.
I had 8 Bitcoin in 2016.
Yeah.
Yes.
I owned 8 Bitcoin.
And don't tell me you paid a pizza for that or something.
No. I mean, in 2016, they were worth a little bit more than a pizza, but it was
Okay.
still, you know, it was. I think I sold them for like $800 a piece. I bought them
Okay.
for like $400 a piece or something like that. I sold them for like
Okay.
$800 a piece, but now they're like worth like $100,000 a
Yeah,
piece.
yeah.
You know,
Yes.
so probably wouldn't have sold
That-
the Bitcoin.
One of the things, like, one of the things now, though, because of everything, is like the worst thing that happened when we first started in the Philippines with the groups,
Yeah.
with all the people. Like, the worst thing that happened on that day, where we were freaking out, it was like a day of phone calls. That's now like 2 a.m. on a Monday. I wake up. Josh is like, "Hey, by the way, this kind of sucks a little bit." Oh yeah, it does. All right. Anyway, you know what I mean?
Just
Like,
go. Yeah.
it's not even. It's like a non sequitur now. You're just like, yeah, yeah. Terrible things happen all the time. Anyway, what's going on? You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, and we wouldn't have gotten to that place without all that. You know.
That is good. That is good. I mean, after so many years, you should have found out how you work together, and that's
Yeah.
cool. And that's good that you're still going on, and I'm actually really, really happy that you put together these girls. What I've heard up to now is really, really awesome.
Appreciate that.
What was, yes, definitely. I mean, what was, I think I know the answer to this one, but what was the most fulfilling moment that you had as a GKD? I guess it is the debut of the girls, right?
Yeah, I think that I mean, they haven't even officially debuted theoretically,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
you know, they've put out more music than the vast majority of baby groups. There was a couple of shows. I think that the first major show that they did was a really proud moment. Again, I think that the Wish Bus was a second. And honestly, man, like you and I both, you do not get very emotional very easily. I've gotten a little bit better over the years. Like I used to, dude, I used to cry a lot on stream. Like I was really emotional for a couple of years.
That's okay. That's okay.
And when we got the rough cut to Thanks for the Rain, was like just this moment of like, what? Like I don't even think we knew how to process the fact that they did it. You know, like we've hired very expensive and professional MV teams up to this point, and it was just like how it all turned out was just one of those moments of like, man, you know, you look at it kind of like a proud father, right? Where it's just like you just sit there and you just kind of like,
all right,
it's like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, even when I watched the video, I had that moment where I had this lump in my throat. It was, I was like, oh my God. And now that you told me that it was basically the girls who did it. Wow. I am deeply impressed. That is actually really, really cool.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of amazing girls.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes,
my God. It's really good to hear that you've got so much planned for the girls and that there's a lot to look forward to. I mean, 27 songs is not a small amount, but after hearing what you told me, it's better than 400 songs in 60 days.
It's true. It's true.
It seems doable somehow. Yes. What message would you share, or would you like to share with maybe fellow creators or other people that want to try to walk in the same path that you have walked, or want to do something similar?
Go ahead.
I think to start, it's the same thing that we tell artists. Make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. If you are the type of person that is just, if you're the type of person that is doing it for fame, if you're doing it for money, if you're doing it for all of those reasons, I think, what's his name's here?
Yeah.
Are you good?
Yeah, it's
okay.
unlocked.
All right. Sorry. If you are doing it for the right reasons and you go in it with good intention and a good heart, you're going to be a lot more likely to be successful. And so whatever you decide to do, whatever direction you decide to go, I would say the first thing is find your bearings, because not only can you have more success, but you are going to be met with adversity in every turn. And especially for content creators, you know, like, and being reactors. It's like people love you until they hate you. People want you to react to their artists until you're clout chasing, right? Like it's this interesting world where no matter what you do, they want you to be honest, but they don't actually want you to tell real opinions. They just want you to say exactly what they're, you know, whatever they want to hear. That's the world that we live in, and you have to have an incredibly thick skin. No matter what you're going to try, whenever you put yourself out there in this type of world. So when you have good bearings, when you have a good place to always go to and look to when those troubling times happen, you're going to be much more likely to be successful. And that has been a constant. Sometimes even having a good partner. There's no way that I would have made this through this without having Lucas, you know, to be able to sometimes talk each other off the ledge.
Yeah.
And it's difficult, but if you're in it for the right reasons and you want to do it, like, go for it. Don't let anybody tell you shouldn't. Don't listen to, again, the 10% of people online when they say, hey, do this instead. You know, why are you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? It's like, because it's my life. Right? If you don't like it, you can watch something else. You can support somebody else.
You go. That's it. Yeah.
You know, and for the girls, I think that's one of the most freeing things about them is like they release Filipino baddies, and a lot of people came and they were like, why? I don't want to support this. Why are you swearing? Why are you doing this? Like, this isn't, you know, very. And it's just like, because they want to, and you're the person that the song is about. You know,
Right.
like don't let those people, don't let them detract you from what you want to do.
That is very cool. That's a
Yeah.
cool ending thought. I really like it. And as I said, the girls are who they are, and I think that is very, very visible and audible. They have so much attitude. It is wonderful to see, and it's just nice to hear that they have so much creative freedom that you are giving them. You have basically let go of the leash. You are just letting them, and that is, you're just giving them something to work with, and they are going in and doing their thing, and that is the most important thing, and it's the most honest and authentic thing that can happen in music.
Yeah. Our job is to be a guide and to help polish the things that they want to say to the world, not to give them what to say to the world.
Yes, you are helping them out with the actual music. You are
Right.
giving them you are giving them the ingredients, and they're making the supper
Yeah.
or the
exactly.
meal. Yeah. So that is actually really, really cool.
Yeah.
My God.
But-
Yeah. So
Thank
I
you.
guess we'll-
Thank you for having us on. I really, really appreciate it.
thank you for being here.
One last plug. You can check out us at the Good Kid Dad Show, but make sure check out the girls at We Are Phoenix across all platforms, or Phoenix on all of the music platforms, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, all that. And we will also put a plug in. We're partnered with a fandom app called Hey Roomy, where people can go in. It's very similar to like Weverse in Korea, but we can kind of interact with the artist directly. Phoenix is on there, so if you're looking for places to actually talk to them directly, you can check them out on Hey Roomy. But there's also like 18 fandom. There's a huge 18 fandom in there. Bloom is in there. Armies are in there. Blinks are in there. So a lot of huge fandoms already, and it's just a very it's freeing to be in there and not on Twitter.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
That is true.
It's
That
a much
is true.
safer place than Twitter.
Okay.
So if you guys
that
want
is
to
cool.
check that out,
I'll put all of the links down in the description.
Than that is Reddit.
we'll get them to you.
Even less safe is Reddit.
Yeah, you don't
Never do Reddit.
don't
Never
go
do
anywhere
Reddit.
near Reddit
Yeah.
if you want to
No,
feel
no.
good about yourself.
That is true. That is so true. Okay, folks. Thank you. Thanks for being here. You guys were great.
Thank
It
you.
was nice talking
really
to you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, have a great day.
All right.
And
Hopefully we'll talk more soon.
Yeah.
that will be
Let's
good.
collaborate
We'll
again.
definitely. Yes, right. We'll do that. Okay. You guys
All
take
right,
care.
thanks.
See ya.